Welcome back to the 12-Sided Guys. We have Matt as Pine.
Hi. Oh.
that was pained. That was pained. Yeah, I get it. Scott as Rousse.
That's me. Hopefully still me in the next session.
Jordan as Ebby.
Salutations.
Sabrina as Nari.
Hey there.
And me, Paul, as I lay me down to sleep. This I pray that you will hold me dear, though I'm far away. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us today to hear some D&D. Disc 2 really hit the ground running, so let's see what's up for our characters this time. If you want to help us out, go check out our Patreon for some bonus content and a little gift. Also, ratings and reviews are oh so nice, but even just spreading the word really helps. You can talk to your friends, your gaming group, your pastor, your dog groomer, your proctologist, whoever.
All your best friends.
I'm really blushing after that really terrible joke. I am so sorry, everybody. Anyway, if your favorite time isn't 4:20, but instead it's 50 seconds after 6:10, then this podcast is for you. It's the Crystal Codex, episode 57.
Are you giving us a chainsaw, Paul?
All right, welcome back to Taybury Castle and this insane fight that our players have been having with these cultists, it seems like. These people who are here to do some kind of bidding for Iramil. Last time we were together, the players met a man up in the top of the tower in Kira's bedroom, a man named Ben, who was part of this group, and he said he didn't want to die and he wasn't willing to take the potion. So then our players rushed back downstairs to see what was going on with Kira. They ran into some more of these ruffians who hit really, really hard, took out Pine a couple of times. Pine fell, 3 times, I think, knocked unconscious, but he kept getting brought back up. And it got so dire that the decision was made to flee. And Ebby created a cloud of darkness, and he fled up the stairs, followed by Pine, and then Nari. And then Rousse, in the dark, decided to alter his appearance and look like Ben, the man they had met up at the top, and sneak in to the dungeon, the torture chamber prison area where Kira was being held. And there he saw, laid out on this arcane symbol scrawled on the floor of one of the prison cells, Kira laying there with a young woman, chanting over her, reading words off of this page. So Rousse opened the door, stabbed the woman a couple times, stole the paper, ripped it up and stuffed it in his pocket, and then gave a healing potion to his sister Kira, who grabbed a dagger lying next to her, a ceremonial sort of occult-looking dagger, hopped up, stabbed this woman 3 times, and told her to get out of her castle. And that is where we are right now. We are jumping right back into initiative. It is Ebby's turn. Here's what's going on. Rousse is still in the bottom floor in this prison cell with Kira, as well as this kind of cult leader, this young woman, probably in her early 20s. She'd be cute if she wasn't kind of slack-jawed and now covered in blood.
How'd you know that's how I like them?
At the top of the staircase, on the second floor, we have Nari, Pine, and Ebby surrounding this mage who had been harassing them earlier. Just so everyone knows what's going on, last time Nari had used her Axe of the Adjudicator to force this woman to grovel, and that is what she will be doing at her next available opportunity. But for now, we have Ebby facing off against her at the top of the stairs.
All right, and we're just going to go ahead and do some mana cannon on this lady. Do a couple blasts at her face, so 13 to hit.
That will hit.
Yeah, all right. Do more than 2 damage. Come on. 4 damage.
That's twice as much.
That's twice as much damage.
She takes it. Boom. She's still standing.
All right, and another hit. Here we go. 19 to hit.
That'll hit.
Another 4 damage.
She is.
I'm never going to roll above half of whatever the damage dice is. I'm just letting you guys know now.
Oh, man. Well, she is hit hard. She is barely standing, but she is still standing. And it is now her turn. And now she is no longer standing because she kneels down in front of Nari and bows her head, waiting for the killing blow from Nari's axe. All right, back to the top of the initiative. We have Amarok.
All right. Amarok is just going to go ahead and attack the cultist leader lady. It's presumably cultist leader lady. Oh, got a nat 20 for a 25 to hit.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
So it would normally be 6. Are we straight doubling that or doubling the dice damage?
We double the dice, so it's a d4 plus 3, so that means that it's 9 damage so far.
9 damage so far, and then she needs to make a DC 11 Constitution save.
Oh my gosh. She rolled a natural 11, so no poison damage, or half poison damage, I guess.
Half poison damage, and she will do 22 poison damage, is what it should be.
Halved to 11. Okay.
Attaboy, Amarok.
That brings us now to this cult leader's turn. She pulls out a sword from underneath her cloak, and she is going to attack once at Kira and once at Rousse. This could be bad.
Well, here we go.
She has a +7 to hit. So against Rousse, an 11.
That will miss.
And against Kira, a 19.
Ouch.
Kira is going to get hit. And she had 10 hit points, right?
I think I only gave her 7. Let me double check.
I think you
it
gave
was
her
7.
exactly 7.
Okay. So Kira falls down unconscious after that that amazing comeback, she stands up, she's ready to go, and then she falls down unconscious. So she knocks Kira unconscious and she whips the sword back towards you and she says, "Give me that page." All right. Pine, it is your turn.
All right, so with the mage at the top of the stairs is kneeling, so now I don't have disadvantage on my attacks against her. So I'll take my first attack against her,
Okay.
and that's only a 9.
Oh no.
And my second attack is a crit.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh, man.
So that means that oh geez. So that's 19 plus 14. So that's 33 damage.
Oh my. Yeah. 33 damage? You almost would have killed her in one hit as it is.
Okay.
She only has 40 hit points. Oh my gosh. How do you do this? I mean,
You know what? It's not pretty because I'm leaning heavily on my cane, and my sword arm is possibly broken. So it's more of a knowing my limitations and getting just the right angle on a sword that I can barely hold, and just kind of right into her gut.
okay. Well, Nari, I want you to make a quick perception check as this woman tumbles out of view.
I rolled a 27.
Okay. You recognize this woman. Now that you're not fighting for your life at this moment, you kind of look at her face and you recognize her from the pit. She was the woman who had been listening to the prophet Mordecai. And as you watched her, you saw that she had her hand in her pouch and she was kind of touching something, and then she kind of pulled her hand away and walked away. And you recognize her as she tumbles down the stairs out of view.
So with the rest of my turn, I'm going to, bonus action or item interaction, I'm going to hand Nari the remaining potion I have, and I'll say, "You two go down the stairs first. I'm going to be too slow, but we can't leave Rousse down there alone." And I will wait this round at the top. I'll move Kenneth S. Talk back down 20 feet down into the stair, back down into the room.
Okay.
And I'll wait for the other two, so Ebby and Nari, to head down the stairs, and then I'll follow behind because I'll slow them down otherwise.
Okay. Awesome. Nari, it's your turn.
Okay, so Nari will definitely take that potion.
It's just a 2d4 plus 2.
Okay, sweet. So I got a couple of points here, and then I'm going to run down the stairs and basically try to find Rousse. He's back in this room, right?
Yeah, so that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 feet so far of movement. I'm guessing you're using your dash.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna just use my dash to get there.
As you run through the arsenal, you can see the open doorway. You kind of follow your way in, and you can see Amarok standing kind of by this open doorway of one of these cells, the furthest one to the west.
Okay, so I will kind of position myself in front of the doorway, blocking the hallway next to Amarok.
Okay.
And I guess that's kind of my move for now, so.
Okay. All right. And that brings us to Rousse. Rousse, it is your turn. What are you going to do?
I think I'm all out of crazy things that'll shift this in a better direction. Rousse is going to mutter under his breath, and he's going to say, if somehow you can still hear me, Lord Laramie, this is how we get revenge. And I'm going to attack with my sword.
Okay.
A 19 to hit.
And you get sneak attack.
Yep. So 9 piercing, 4 necrotic, 13 sneak attack for 26 damage.
Holy cow. Tell me what his inspiration does for Rousse.
I envision she brings her sword up to block the blow, and Rousse knocks it aside with his main hand, and then pushes her back against the wall and slowly shoves his offhand straight through her heart.
Oh, that's brutal.
And just kind of watches her as she falls to the ground and almost like forgets about the moment and all of the pressing need to save his sister. And he just like watches this woman die. And part of him feels really good about it.
Yeah.
I mean, she was trying to kill your sister, so.
You have killed this cult leader, and we will cue victory music.
Oh, no way.
Holy cow, guys. Oh my god.
With Kira there real quickly, I want to do something with Amarok.
Well, it's first off, it's not Amarok's turn yet. Let me go through the initiative again, because it is now Kira's turn, and she has to make a death saving throw. And she rolled a natural 20.
There you go. That's my girl.
Oh my god.
Her eyes flutter open as she kind of looks around. She hops up like to her feet. Her one good leg, kind of supporting more of her weight. And she looks around the room, and now we can exit initiative. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Kira is no longer holding that dagger. There is this arcane symbol on the ground that she was kind of lying in the middle of. And there are dead bodies all over the place now. I described this a little bit last time, but Rousse, these cells that you're in the furthest west one, but you can see that the middle one and the further east one, they have some people locked up in there. And as you look at them, you recognize a couple of three of these are guards that were here at the castle. And they're saying, let us out, we can help.
Okay.
Nari is going to immediately busy herself with those cells and trying to open them.
Okay.
Whether or not she can find a key, that's what she's going to completely absorb herself into.
Okay. I imagine you start looking for a key and you can't find one, then you start hitting it with your axe, and actually the locks come open relatively easy.
Nice.
Pine is stumbling down the stairs, looking finally like a 76-year-old man, leaning so heavily on his cane. Just kind of like he looks a bit lost and dazed as well, kind of just stumbling through the halls, trying to get to where Kira is.
I think Ebby's going with Pine too. Okay. Maybe even helping him if he can.
Lean on me.
Oh man, yeah! You guys manage to all get down into this this kind of prison area of this tower, and Kira is she sits back down in the middle of this symbol, and she kind of looks around herself like, what happened?
Cultists of the Angel. I don't know what they were trying to do, but I have no doubt they were of Iramil.
They thought that your death would appease their god.
And she looks down at the dagger on the ground, and she kind of picks it up. She says, with this symbol and my blood?
In this incantation, Rousse pulled the note from his pocket. I ripped it. I thought about eating it, but, I still have it, so we can try and translate it.
Yeah, it may do to study that.
Yeah.
Pine is going to walk over to the symbol on the ground and start kind of just scuffing it with his foot so it's not complete.
Okay.
But not like ruining the whole thing, so we can still get an idea of what it's supposed to look like.
Okay. Sure thing. While you're doing that, why don't you make an Arcana check
With disadvantage.
with disadvantage?
Can I help him with doing some of this?
Well, I got a 4.
You can do the check yourself, I think. Why don't you go ahead and do the check yourself?
Okay.
Wait, -1? -1?
I didn't know that you could roll a 0. That's so great. Oh my gosh.
So Ebby is apparently less than useful. He looks at this and he's like, I just don't understand modern art these days, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my
The
god.
color appears to be red.
Yes.
I knew it. It's red, all right.
Yeah, as you guys look, you guys can ascertain that this is blood of some kind. It's not Kira's blood, so it might be blood from an animal or something.
While they're doing that, and Nari is going to be a little bit disappointed that she was able to open those cells so easily, so she is going to busy herself with searching this cultist leader and seeing if she has anything interesting on her.
Okay.
You realize that puts you really close to where Kira is.
Well, yeah, but I'm really busy with like my hands and stuff. I'm looking at this person. Like I'm very invested in searching this person.
Sure you are.
All right. Well, let's see what comes up. Yes. Okay. As you are searching over this body, you see that this woman, she's young. She's probably like 20 to 25, somewhere in there. She would probably be considered attractive. You see that in her pouch at her belt, she has a small vial similar to what you found upstairs on Ben, but this one is empty. No stopper, and it's empty. And you also find in her pouch a letter. As you pull it out and you start to read it, you see that it says, "The angel is pleased with your work, but Taybury the kingdom should not be. It was not meant to be. It must be made right. The kingdom must fall for Iramil to bless us with the inevitable. Silence Taybury's queen once and for all." And then it's signed Silas.
I will obviously kind of show that to Ebby and Pine, who are kind of back here with me, and really be engrossed in reading it.
Apparently there's somebody named Silas.
I've never heard of anybody of that name.
I had a kid in middle school who was named Silas.
Wasn't there a guy on Heroes named Silas who ate people's brains to get superpowers?
Absolutely.
That's probably who it is.
Yeah. That show kind of went downhill after season 2.
That was Siler.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right.
Yes.
All right. So Kira looks at you, Rousse, and she puts her hand on your shoulder and she says, "Thank you so much for rescuing me, for not turning your back on Taybury, for not turning your back on me."
Look, sis, I'd never turn my back on you. And frankly, Taybury was always yours. Always was. You built this. Behind me, I was just in front of you. But you made all the decisions, so own it. And I'll always be here for you. Well, I mean, I do have to go and try and save the world again. But when I finish that, then I'll come back.
Try to undo the saving of the world we did last time.
That's right.
That was our whoopsie. Now we have a mulligan.
That's right. No, I've like I said in our conversations before, something about these swords kind of drives me to end this, and then I can put them down.
She nods. She says, I think I understand now." And then she looks over at the cult leader and she's like, "Yeah, I get it." And then she starts to walk out of the room. You can see that in these other cells, these soldiers, these guards that had been beat up and stripped of their gear, they start to move into the arsenal and start to re-equip themselves with swords and armor and stuff. And one of them kind of comes up to Kira and says, "I'm so sorry, my queen, that we failed you." And she says, No, it was not your fault. We we should double the guard now and make sure that we stay safe. Apparently, somebody wants me dead." And they busy themselves getting equipped and everything, and going to go start looking through the castle to see if there's any more intruders.
Pine will unsuccessfully try to keep up with them and say,
We did leave one person up in the Queen's chambers, but he shouldn't be a problem for another hour or so. We may need to call in. Do we have like a civilian militia?
Yeah, they nod. The constables. Yes, we can go get some of the constables.
Yes, I think we should wake everyone.
Okay.
Of the constables, yes.
Start ringing the bell. Everybody, wake up! No, oh yeah. So
Last time we did that, it ended in people in the stocks.
Yes. All right. So the guards they rush off, and Kira starts to kind of look at this room with the symbol that Pine had scuffed. Nari, make a perception check.
26.
You see Kira glance up at you and then glance back down, and then she never glances back up at you again. But you don't necessarily think that she's mad or anything. You think that she's kind of doing what you're doing. You know, she's awkwardly waiting for somebody else to make the first move.
She's really engrossed in this letter that I'm reading, obviously.
Pine will conspicuously say,
Nari, the Queen owes you her life. You were amazing up there. I mean, Evie and Rousse, you helped as well, but Nari, you were amazing, coming to save the Queen.
Under her breath, be like, old man, you thought you were in trouble before.
Well, at that, Pine, Kira looks up and she makes eye contact with you, Nari, and she says, Nari, you have my eternal gratitude. And then she starts to hobble out of the room.
Rousse will put his arm around her shoulder and help her walk out.
Yes.
And he'll accompany her wherever she's going for now.
Yeah, she says, if you could take me back up to my room, I need to find Beatrice, my butler. I hope that she is safe.
Of course.
She should be on the 3rd floor.
All right. Let's get you settled.
All right.
And be on the lookout if you notice anybody having a little vial about the size of your middle finger, only slightly larger. Be very wary of those people.
I think that's my biggest concern, even about doubling the guard, like Kira so wisely suggested. It seems like these people are everyday people who are blending in. I'm not sure that in itself will be effective enough.
I think we need to have a conversation with this street preacher.
Mordecai.
All right. Yeah. So, Rousse, you get your sister up to her room.
Nari's going to follow along with them.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, just a couple steps behind, but just kind of making sure things are going okay.
Pine is just going up to the entry hall of the keep and finding a place to sit down.
Okay. Yeah, there's 2 nice chairs in the middle of the hall. I imagine you just sit your rump down in one of those thrones.
I didn't mean that, but sure.
Okay, so Nari and Rousse are upstairs with Kira in the room and a knocked out Ben. Ebby and Amarok, what are you guys doing?
We are going to, well, I'll pause there as we're starting to head back up the stairs, and Ebby's going to turn to Amarok and say, what do you think it means? I've never seen any symbol like this, but it felt like they were working up towards something.
Why don't you make your Arcana check again? Only because Amarok will give you advantage on your check.
Oh, okay. Gosh.
Man.
I've rolled so poorly this evening.
Oh.
I rolled a 3 with advantage.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Amarok says, I don't. Oh, no, Amarok says whatever, but Amarok does not understand the arcane traditions of humanity.
Yeah. And then with that, we're going to walk up the stairs and follow everybody else.
And Pine's going to take a nap.
Yeah, basically, Pine will be kind of toward the entrance to this tower, observing the guards and seeing what they're doing, trying to get a short rest in.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah, why don't you go and take a short rest? We'll say everybody else who's up in Kira's room, you guys can take a short rest as well. There's going to be some conversation going on up here. And we'll say what happened is you guys found actually Beatrice was locked in her room here on this 3rd floor. And you also found another staff person here, Cochrane, who actually does all the cooking here in the keep. He's Kira's private chef, I guess you could say. He was also locked in his room, and so Cochrane and he goes back downstairs, out the door past you, Pine. But Beatrice is here in the room with Kira. All right. Ben is here, knocked out on the floor. So Kira asks, "So this is one of them?"
I didn't, Kira. I didn't chat with this one. As soon as I heard you were downstairs, I ran for the stairs.
Nari will pop up and say his name was Ben. He admitted to us that he was too afraid to drink this vial. And Nari actually pocketed, I think, that vial. So she'll produce it and say, I'm not quite sure what's in here, but whatever it is, it seemed to make all of the others almost zombies. And she'll set it on the desk.
She looks at it, she's like, interesting. Should we wake him up and find out what he knows? Beatrice comes over and actually starts tending to Kira, like, kind of bandaging wounds and things, as Kira sits on her bed trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, let's question him. What was that name from that letter that you pocketed, Nari?
Yes, it was Silas. It sounds like these people believe that Taybury itself needs to fall before Iramil can come back. And I doubt this will be the last time they attack whoever is ruling Taybury.
But why Taybury? There's other new countries. Why Taybury? Why us?
It's a pretty cool corner of the world, I think.
She says, I guess prophecy does just tend to follow our family, doesn't it?
Something like that.
It now, given the way the sea is, it is now the primary artery from the old Almarian Empire over to the east.
Yes, that's true. We have seen, especially recently, more trade coming through.
Do you suppose it has anything to do with the location? Perhaps something with the Glass Mountains?
How clued in is Kira to everything that you guys have discovered with the Glass Mountains?
I would say fully. I think Nari would have unless if there's something like we agreed to keep secret, I think Nari would have been pretty open about things.
Yeah, Rousse would have as well.
Yeah. I suppose that's possible. The Glass Mountains were, I guess, instrumental in stopping Iramil before.
Did Nari let us know about the street preacher she ran into?
Mordecai, yeah. No, we talked about him.
Okay. Well, we can ask Ben if Mordecai is the leader of this organization, or we should try and figure out what we can about this Silas fellow. I think that's our best lead to figuring out next steps.
Agreed. I think that's a great place to begin.
Nari will go over and pick Ben up and just kind of slap him around a bit.
She says, maybe take him down to the prison. Maybe, she looks at all of you. She's like, maybe lock him up for tonight and talk to him tomorrow. I think we're all a little worse for wear at this point.
I think that's a fine idea. I could use a bit of rest.
Nari, Kira, I will excuse myself as well. And Rousse will leave.
Pine yells from downstairs,
Put him on a suicide watch!
All right. Is everybody going to leave the castle then at this point?
Wait, do we want to discuss what happens with all the people on the grounds that we knocked out?
Oh, that's true. You guys knocked out, I think 2 people out in the courtyard as well.
Yeah, 2 or 3, I think.
Pine will point those out to the guards as they're coming in. Say,
Those ones there are still alive, but be careful. They were very powerful and possibly under the mind control of some substance they ingested. They will need to be bound and put into the prison.
As you say that, one of the guards, he shakes his head. He says, no, they're dead too. They're all dead.
I see.
Well, does that mean maybe we shouldn't leave? Well, no, Ben didn't drink it, so we're good.
Right.
We need to find Mordecai.
Okay, it's still the middle of the night.
Yeah, if it's anything like apparently was typical, we'll be able to hear him as soon as we wake up.
Yeah.
Preaching about orgies and whatnot.
I think we need to put the town on lockdown and ensure that no one leaves. If we can have the constabulary help to enforce the gates, and that way we can at least rest a little bit before resuming or beginning a search.
I agree with you, Abby. I'm a little concerned, though, that we haven't noticed any of this tower iconography on any of the people we fought so far tonight, but we do know that there is a force of some other party decorated in tower regalia. I don't want to put them on edge as well, because like Angus was saying, there's a lot of them here, and they could make a lot of trouble if they wanted.
So maybe a lockdown, but discreet? Just preventing people from leaving?
Exactly, yes. What does everybody else think?
The guards are like, of course, Lieutenant General, of course, and they salute you, Pine.
Oh, yes. Make it so. Keep up the good work.
He loves it when you say those kinds of things, guys.
And as I'm walking away, I'll be like, no, I'm trying to think of a Captain Picard quote, but all I could come up with was, number 1, I command you to make a number 2. That was a Beavis and Butthead joke.
I was going to say the same thing. All right. You guys wander out of the castle slowly, kind of licking your wounds, and you head back down towards the Keggery, I'm guessing, where your rooms are.
Is there another inn closer to the keep?
There's the Stone Horseman, which is a little closer to the keep. If you look at the map of Taybury, if you are a patron, you can check out that map on Patreon, and you can see that from the keep, if you head, the Keggery is basically as far as you can get from the castle. But there is the Stone Horseman is actually on the western edge of town. It's not in the upper city; it's down in the lower city, but it is closer than the Keggery.
I just don't want to be too far away if we're needed again in the middle of the night.
I agree. Plus, I think the quicker we can rest, the better we'll all feel.
I just need a quick drink, and then I'll retire to bed.
I need some time to process everything that's happened.
Paul, about how much time would we be saving if we went to the Stone Horseman instead of the Keggery?
I think you guys got there. It only took you like 5-10 minutes tops to run to the castle, so you probably save yourself about 5 minutes is all. Taybury's not a massive city.
Right.
Well, maybe the Keggery's fine then, if there's nothing right next door to the keep.
Yeah, so head down to the Keggery.
You guys head all the way down to the Keggery.
Yeah, we'll go down to the Keggery.
All right. So I redid the map for the Keggery. If anyone is interested who is a patron, I like this one a lot better. Anyway, you guys get back to the Keggery. It is at this point, gosh, I don't know, 4:30 in the morning. There are still people up. Angus is still at the bar. He looks tired, but as you recall, the Keggery never really closes. As you come wandering in, you can see that sitting at a table, you actually see 4 of these. You see these guys with the tower iconography. You see these bailiffs is what Nola called them. You see 4 of them sitting at a table, sharing a drink and talking by the fire. There's actually 3 fireplaces in here, but they're sitting by one of the fireplaces. As you guys walk in, and Angus is at the bar, are you guys just going to go straight up to your room and go to bed?
I think Nari would get a drink, maybe see if Rousse still wanted his drink, and then maybe sit kind of close to those guys and just see if they can maybe overhear something.
Yeah, Rousse will get a drink too, and he's thinking about saying some things to those guys.
Okay. All right. Pine, are you going to stick around?
Yeah, Pine will get something as well. Don't know if I'll be any use, but
I think Ebby is going to ask Amarok to go invisible and kind of slink over in the corner near them and see if Amarok can overhear the conversation.
All right. So you guys are all going to kind of get some drinks, and you're going to send Amarok invisibly over to kind of hang out by these tower folk. As you walk up to the bar, Angus is like, oh, late night.
You know how we do. We party hard.
And then he kind of raises a cup. He's like, I hear ya. And then he takes a swig, and then he says, what'll it be?
A splint, please.
He pulls out a little like cheat sheet looking to like how to make a splint. Like, I've never heard of that drink. You look like you could use some rest.
Yes. But my friends are still drinking.
He gives you guys all a couple of beers, and okay, there you are. So you guys wanted to be kind of close to these tower people.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not sure that's necessary if Amarok is being invisible. What do you guys think?
I'm fine with that. I think even if Amarok was just listening while the rest of us went to bed, I would be fine with that too.
Yeah.
After we drank our drinks.
Yep.
Okay.
As the group is drinking, Rousse will say, they're looking for information about the hanging. Something about the hanging, possibly involving the adjudicator Rolf that was killed. We were there. We could leverage what we know, perhaps get information from them about why they're here.
Well, I did mention it'd be nice to have a plaque.
Do you think it's worth trading our knowledge? I don't know if we want these people to know what we know.
I wouldn't tell them everything, but I'd sure like to know why they're here in our city.
Well, maybe we should let Amarok spy for the night. We can go to bed and then kind of decide in the morning based on what he hears.
Good idea.
So they call themselves bailiffs. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what Angus told me. The bailiffs.
And they've been asking about Adjudicator Rolf. I think they may be connected to the Adjudicator somehow. Like a courtroom thing.
Yeah, that's, as far as I understood the word bailiff to be, and involving the courtroom. But I don't know where they come from or what that tower even symbolizes.
Anybody who spent time in Almar before the Empire kind of dissolved would know that the adjudicators, their kind of home base was called the Tower of Judgment, also called the Adjudicatorium. But that was kind of their home base. So the idea of tower and adjudicators is not a crazy leap to make.
Wasn't there a movie called Mr. Megorium's Wonder Adjudicatorium or something like that?
Yeah. I just
It
watched that
was
with my kids a
something
couple
like
months
that.
ago. Yeah.
All right, so you guys going to bed then, leaving Amarok down there?
I won't even finish his beer, like 3 sips, and then on the table, it's like,
I have to go.
Good night, old man.
Night.
Let's play some bocce in the morning and set off on a good foot tomorrow.
All right. Good night, everyone.
I want to know, if you guys had a room, would you guys be sharing rooms? Would you have single rooms? Would you have the nicest room? Kind of what would you do? Would you be having Ember's old room?
ooh,
Memories.
getting strange visitors knocking on your door in the middle of the night, wondering if Mistress Ember ever returned.
Basically.
Rousse would probably want one of the nicer rooms.
Okay.
Maybe not the nicest, but a nicer room.
Yeah, I don't think Nari would care so much about quality, but at this point, I think she's well enough off that she would want her own room.
Okay.
Pine was pretty much planning to live here, so probably not the most expensive, but a nice enough room.
Okay. And Ebby doesn't even have a room yet, I don't think.
No, Ebby can literally just stand or sit in a corner and stare.
Bruce.
Well, Rousse, we'll say your room is this one. This is the nicest room here on the second floor. So your room is kind of right at the top of the stairs, but it's a big room. It's like 20 feet by 20 feet. Big double bed in there. You got like a wardrobe and a desk. Nice carpet on the ground. Again, this is not the nicest inn you've stayed in, but here at the Keggery, this is probably the nicest room that the Keggery has.
Okay.
Pine, your room would be a couple doors down, or 3 doors down, across the hall from Rousse, but 3 doors down. It's just a basic room. You've got a bed, you've got a little nightstand, and then you have places to put the rest of your stuff, but it won't break the bank. And then Nari, I think your room would be right next to Rousse's room. Just a simple single bed, and again another little nightstand. Basically, a kind of a copy of Pine's room. And then Ebby, where are you going to be spending your night?
I'd probably go with Pine, I would imagine.
Just like old times.
Yeah.
You know, Abby, it's strangely comforting having you staring at me from the corner.
I'm always watching over you, Pine. I'm always watching over you.
Rousse is laying in his bed wondering, why didn't Abby want to come and stare at me tonight?
Ooh.
Bruce just wants to be wanted.
Oh, man.
Ebby's feigning disinterest, huh?
Oh, Rousse, I didn't see you there. My bad.
Oh, golly. That's
Oh,
great.
you're here at the Keggery too?
Yeah. I've got rooms here.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Have a good night.
Yeah. We'll see you in the morning. We'll see you in the morning.
All right. So you guys all go to bed. You guys can all take a long rest now and get some of your hit points back. That was a pretty brutal night. And then in the morning, you guys can go chat with Ben or talk to any of the prisoner. I guess he's the only prisoner, or the only one that's still alive, and try to figure out what is going on. But in the night, Ebby, as you are sitting in the corner of Pine's room, listening to him snore, you are seeing through you're sensing what Amarok is seeing. Amarok is lounging down by the fireplace, and I imagine he's probably getting tired of just kind of sitting here, just watching these people drink, and they don't really talk very much. And you can sense Amarok can sense there's like an uneasiness to this group. Not Uneasiness is the wrong word. There is a tension and a restlessness, and then at some point, a couple hours after you guys go to bed, one of them goes up to bed, goes up the stairs to bed here, and then another couple of them come into the keggery, and then they chat for a little bit. So then there's 5 of them down here, and one of them kind of shakes his head as he comes walking in. And then another one says, "So no luck then." And then the other one says, "No luck. We've been looking everywhere. It's gotta be here somewhere." And then a third one who hasn't talked yet says, "Well, they'll be here soon, and I hope we have some answers for them. Hopefully some good news." And then they all kind of agree, and then these 5 who are still here, they all kind of get up and they kind of split up. A couple of them come back up here to bed, and then a couple of them go out the door, back out into the streets of Taybury as the sun is starting to rise in the sky. And everybody wakes up in the morning after having a long rest.
Level 9.
I did not say that.
Oh.
We got to get used to level 8. We got to get used to this respect level 8 first before we can add on any more. All right. Well, good morning. It is a new morning. It is a sun shining type of a day. It's one of those spring days where you can smell the blossoms on the trees. It's you look out the window and you can see all of these blossoming trees, and you can just feel that summer is just right around the corner, but it's not. It's still kind of early spring, but you just get your hopes up that it's going to start being even warmer, and you have a new day.
So, Paul, if I've done the math correctly, I should still have 1 level of exhaustion. Is that correct?
I think we had kind of said if you get a long rest, you can just get rid of all your exhaustion.
Okay, cool.
Well, let's get some breakfast and find Mordecai.
Yes. Eggs, bacon, sausage, potatoes. Maybe some beans and some toast.
Perfect.
I'm hungry.
And just so you know, regarding what Amarok saw last night or overheard, they were searching for someone or something to no luck, but they said that others would be coming soon and they didn't want to disappoint them. Or at least that was the impression that I had. So hopefully we can find this individual quickly.
Are you guys talking down there at your table as you guys are eating breakfast?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Okay.
Well, if they're looking for something, as I recall, Rolf left his sword here when he died. Perhaps they're looking for his weapon. And that makes me nervous about other weapons that may have gone missing from the adjudicatorium.
Yes, but it's damn near unrecognizable now, since Nari's had all that cosmetic work done on it.
Well, I wasn't going to say Nari or anything along those lines.
Don't worry, I was whispering it. Oh, wait. I forgot to turn my hearing aid up this morning. I was shouting that. Damn it.
That's funny.
No, I was being quiet about it.
You see that at this point, there's none of these tower guys are in here. There's just kind of random folks in here just eating some late breakfast. You guys, since you got to bed so late, you guys to get your full rest. It's a late morning right now.
Yeah, that's where my mind goes for what they're after, but I could be wrong. I have no real evidence for that. That's just what I think.
If someone's coming they don't want to disappoint, I mean, are there still adjudicators? There's no more Empire.
I don't know.
I guess the question was the arm of adjudication, this office or branch of the adjudicators, was it an extension of the government or was it an extension of the religion of the Angel of Iramiel?
Why don't you make a history check, Ebby? You've spent a lot of time in Almar, so why don't you make a history check?
Oh, history. Nice. Here we go. All right, 15. I have a -1 on my intelligence, so I thought it was going to be way bad.
Too bad you couldn't have rolled that for the Arcana check.
I know, right?
All right. Yeah, with history, actually, so as you're talking, you remember hearing rumblings in Almar of like, even after the Empire was brought down in its second year post shattering, you remember hearing rumblings that the adjudicators were still acting. They were still enforcing their will on people. And still taking their role of being the voice of the emperor and of reason and of being judges. They were still taking that very seriously. And as you were in Almar, you also heard tales of one of the adjudicators. You're not sure which one, but of one of the adjudicators becoming almost like a crime boss. Or like mafia type thing, like using his position and his authority that he had as an adjudicator for his own gain in starting sort of a criminal syndicate is the wrong word, but kind of more like a mafia family type of a situation. So you know that the adjudicators are still around and that there were 6 of them and you have killed 2 of them and you don't know if there's more now. But that's kind of what you have managed to gather from your time in Almar.
Perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, I'll just relay exactly all of that to the whole group.
Well, regardless of any authority they may still hold, they were formidable opponents, at least the 2 that we fought already. I mean, the 2 that were... You know, I'm being quiet.
You see somebody peeking up from around the over the side of the railing there, and you're like, "Ooh!" No, I'm just kidding. That doesn't happen.
No, we're just playing a role-playing game.
Look, if they're
Actually, I do have a question about that. Do people recognize Rousse?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Angus did.
oh yeah, people know who Rousse is.
Angus called him Your Highness and stuff.
Okay. So people, yeah, we definitely should be quiet.
So if they're doing any real digging, they're gonna know that at least I was involved, and Nari and Mr. Pine. I don't know if they would have any recollection of a wrapped person.
I wouldn't be surprised. I know that when we had the events in the square, they saw me as a deacon in particular.
That's true. Yeah. So they may not have any connection to you, Abby. But if these tower folks have been doing any digging about those events, they definitely have heard some of our names come up in conversation.
And I wouldn't imagine it would take too much digging to figure out that there's an Ormec that hangs around with the former king.
Although he doesn't look like an Olmec, though. Look at him. He handsome fella.
And that mustache, man, I just can't take my eyes off it.
Why don't you guys all make insight checks?
Pine rolled a 10.
Nari rolled a 19.
Rousse got a 28.
And Epi got a 23.
Oh golly. Okay.
Nice rolls.
As you guys are sitting here kind of talking about, they're gonna link it to you guys eventually. You can't help but think about, well, why haven't they yet? And Rousse and Nari and Ebby, you guys all kind of come to the same conclusion that there's a very real possibility that they might link Rolf to you, and there's also a very real possibility the reason why it hasn't happened yet is because you guys are kind of seen as heroes of Taybury. The small folk rose up and fought, the riot that you guys started, so you guys were rescuing one of their own. You guys were rescuing Bert from the evil empire. And so will it slip out eventually? Probably. But if it hasn't yet, it's because people don't want to snitch on you guys.
And just to be clear, we may have started the riot, but Angus perfected it.
You glance over back at Angus behind the bar as he's picking his nose.
Well, if we if we fear we may be in more immediate danger, and given the events of last night, I'm going to go call in some backup. I'll be right back.
And Pine's just going to go out the front door and start calling for Crumbles.
Okay.
Nice.
You hear the bugle coming from kind of all around you. That sound is kind of siphoned through some of the alleyways and down the streets, and it kind of wraps around you. You feel a little blast of wind kind of whip around you, a little whirlwind of like leaves and petals from these trees that are all blossoming in pink. And then from behind a building out steps a Aurora Borealis colored Alaton.
Crumbles, here, boy. Here, boy. Hey, I'm sorry to bring you into the city. I know your place is in the wilderness, out in the wild, but I fear we may be in danger, and it would be good to have your horn and your fast hooves ready to aid us in whatever we need. I'll find a good stable for you.
He nuzzles your hand.
Okay. And I'm sure the Kagri has a stable, right?
Yes, the Kagri does have a stable.
I'll just lead him over to the stable here at the Kagri and then head back inside.
You literally just kind of walk over to the stable, and Crumbles just kind of walks past you and then goes into one of the the stalls, and then reaches down and closes the gate with his own mouth.
Yes.
He's just like, yep. And then he just kind of sits down and starts just kind of just napping a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll head back in.
All right.
Should we head over to the pit and see if that preacher has started his morning routine?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. And I think we should just arrest him on sight and bring him to the keep.
A citizen's arrest. Classy.
Well, technically, I have a position within the Queen's government, so I could probably make that arrest. Or if we pass any constables on the way, I could have them come with us. Yes, make it all official.
The people of Taybury won't stop us. If they see the four of us walking through town with someone in our possession, they're going to look the other way.
It's true, Bruce, but remember, we're not Howling Talon anymore, and we're supposed to represent law and order in this city to help Kira. I think it's probably best if we involve the constabulary in bringing him in for questioning.
Mordecai and his people threw law and order out the window when they tried to murder the Queen last night.
That's true. We don't need to sink to their level.
All right. You lead this one then.
Okay.
Pine will stand up, sit back down, grab a spoonful of beans, and shove them into his mouth, and then get back up.
I didn't get to finish my breakfast. I was out calling my Alaton.
We can take another minute if you need.
Is that what they call it these days in the morning?
Yes.
Calling my Alaton.
Calling Alaton.
Takes me a good 20 minutes most days.
Oh, that's awesome.
I call my Alaton a couple times a day.
You know, the older you get, the longer it takes. It's the swollen prostate.
Oh my gosh.
Pine is going to ride Crumbles through the city. So,
Nice. Okay. Hey, you guys ride Crumbles through the city. You guys, as you're moving through town, you guys every once in a while get like little like waves and things, and people like waving at you. People say like, "Oh, hey, Lieutenant General," or "Your Highness," that kind of thing. And you guys manage to get all the way to the pit. The pit is kind of up in the northeast corner of the town. It's kind of right at the base of this bluff that kind of runs through the city, separating the upper city from the lower city. And as you approach, you can see there are market stalls. There are some, sheds and different kind of ramshackle stalls. There's also some nice tents and nice awnings that have been set up and are being used. And you can hear from one corner, you can hear somebody calling out things about the inevitable. You hear calling out, "Iramil will have his say." And you hear him saying, "It's pointless. It's pointless to resist the inevitable," and the like. And you also, as you are walking into the pit, you hear another voice, and it says, My goodness, my friends! And as you turn, you see. Any guesses?
A chubby Morgan Freeman.
Is it?
a chubby Morgan Freeman. Yes, yes. You see a black man with kind of full cheeks, gray hair. He's dressed in traveler's clothes. He's got a big black witch's hat on his head, and next to him you see this giant woolly ox with a small little crystal rotating around its head. There is a stall kind of set up behind him, and you can see that Gerard and Porthos are here selling their wares.
Ebby runs up and says, "My dear friend," and then walks right past Gerard over to Porthos and just starts talking to him.
Oh, perfect.
Pine will lean down to Crumbles' ear, and in Mannerese will say,
Hey, that Porthos, apparently he had a little thing for you. What do you think, huh?
Can you actually communicate?
he's unusually intelligent. While your seat is within 1 mile of you, you can communicate with each other telepathically.
Oh my. Okay, well, Crumbles is your creature, so how does Crumbles respond to what you just told him?
So, and it's not really like we don't talk to each other. It's more of just sharing the feelings, and I get the feeling that Crumbles is not a sexual being, so not interested, but thinks that Porthos is just a nice guy to hang out with.
Yeah, a real stand-up dude.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, Gerard is saying things like, "Oh, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in, oh gosh, since before the shattering. How have you been?" And he looks at you, Pine, and he says, It's really good to see you. I'm very pleased that you have," and he kind of stumbles over how to say it, "survived so long. Good to see you."
Yes, the old man is now an older man and fully capable of survival. Good to see you, Gerard. I'll be back to browse your wares, but first there's something a little more pressing I must do.
And Pine's going to actually head off and try to scan for a constable in the market.
Okay, yeah, you see constables moving around through the pit.
I'll approach one from Crumbles back and approach one and say,
You there, Constable?
Yeah, he salutes you. "Lieutenant General, of course. We are being extra cautious this morning. We heard of what happened last night, and we want you to know that we won't let anything like that happen to our queen again."
I'll summon him closer and I'll say,
This Mordecai, this street preacher, we need to question him. We don't want it to be done violently. We want it to be done with order, and we want it to be done peacefully. So can you please peacefully take him into custody and take him to the keep? We'll talk with him there.
Of course, Lieutenant General. And he turns around and he spots another constable, and he kind of does the 2-finger whistle thing that I cannot do, that I've always been very jealous of. Anyway, yeah, and so the other constable comes over, and the first constable says, "Lieutenant General, we're ready when you are. We'll make sure he comes with us."
Just go do it. I'll just observe from here.
and I'll just watch as they approach him and try. Hopefully, they're just trying to do like a nice, peaceful, like, "Please come with us," and then I'll go back and talk with Gerard.
Yeah, as you watch these two constables, they walk over to Mordecai. You can see him up there preaching, and as soon as they get closer, Mordecai stops preaching and looks down at them. You can see that they are talking back and forth. That first constable that you had stopped, he's taking lead. He says something to him, kind of motions with his hands, and then Mordecai steps off his box and picks it up, and he starts walking with the constables, one on either side of him, and they are walking together. They are going to take him to the constabulary, not to the castle, because they're constables.
Right.
So
That makes
if
sense.
you want them to go somewhere else, you need to tell them.
No, we can question him there. That's fine.
Okay, perfect, awesome. They take him to the constabulary, which is over kind of by I think it's actually attached to the city hall, which is up there in the upper city. So yeah, they start marching Mordecai off, and as he's walking by, Pine, Mordecai looks over at you and makes eye contact with you, and then turns back and walks on with the constables.
Okay, and I don't recognize him.
No, you do not recognize him.
Okay.
In fact, you haven't recognized anybody. You've been here in the city on and off for a couple of years. You haven't recognized anybody.
When you say anybody, you mean any of the cultists?
Yes.
Okay, all right, because like I recognize Angus. Like I'm not like losing my sense of like
No,
facial awareness, right?
I don't know,
No.
dude. You're getting kind of up there in age.
You recognize Angus, you recognize Gerard, you recognize Porthos.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So I'll just watch that happen while the others start their shopping, and I'll join them in a little bit.
Yeah, sure thing. All right, so Gerard's like, "What? Well, I've got potions. I've got more excellent items. I've got some of these," and he pulls out some like red healing potions again. He's like, "I know you guys like these," and he's got 5 greater healing potions, and he's got 4 regular healing potions. He pulls out this bottle with the number 9 on it. He's like, "I can't get anyone to buy this."
It's nice to know that the people of this world have morals.
And then he's got so the potions that he's got the healing potions, he's got that filter of love, he's got an antidote, elixir of health, and then he's got potion of heroism still, he's got a potion of growth, which is like that clear fluid with the expanding red bead, it keeps expanding and contracting. He's got a white potion with or a black potion with little white wisps in it that is a potion of spider climb, and he's got that bead of force that was like 960 gold pieces. And then he's got 2 new potions that you haven't seen before. So he's got this yellow one, which is a potion of speed, and then he's got this this one that keeps flashing. It looks like it's empty, and then all of a sudden pink fluid will fill it, and then it'll disappear again and fill it and disappear and fill. And he says, this potion, this is a potion of blink. If you drink it, it will actually occasionally it'll zap you off to another dimension and then back again. It's not permanent, but it will work in a pinch to keep you safe.
What dimension?
I don't know. I've never drank it.
But it keeps you safe while you're there. Or so you understand.
So I was assured, yes.
Okay. So it's not like sending you off to the 9 hells and back.
Maybe a safe place in the 9 hells? I don't know.
Interesting.
But apparently it keeps you safe. I don't know. It's 450 gold pieces.
What about the potion of speed? What does that do?
This one makes it so that you are extra fast for a short time. Afterwards, I do believe that you might be a little bit tired, but yes, it'll make you quick. And basically, it casts haste on you.
Nice.
And then he starts pulling out other things, and he's like, "I've got these other things. Those are the potions, but I've got this." And he pulls out the ever-smoking bottle. He pulls out the rope of climbing. He pulls out another little ion stone that you guys have seen before, an ion stone of health. And then he pulls out a bag of holding, which you guys have seen before. And then he pulls out 3 more objects. He pulls out this long staff, and it looks like a tree limb, but it's kind of the end. So not the end you plant in the ground, but the top end looks like kind of this dried up husk of a limb. And he says, "This staff will actually, if you strike someone with it, it will actually."
It'll whack 'em, but good.
He says, this staff will whack 'em, but good. Basically, it's a staff of withering, which means that when you hit with it, it has 3 charges. You can expend a charge and deal an extra 2d10 damage, necrotic damage. And then also, that person who gets hit needs to make a DC 15 Constitution save, or they're going to have disadvantage for an hour on any ability check or saving throw that uses Strength or Constitution, which includes, I believe that would include attacking, possibly.
Wow. How does it recharge its magical ability on a regular basis, or is it just a limited number of charges permanently?
No, it you can use it 3 times, and then some of it comes back every morning.
You got to call your Alaton, and that's how the charges come back.
Hi-yo.
P joke.
How much for that one?
3,000 gold pieces.
Ah.
I've also got these, and then he pulls out 2 small rods that are just kind of they're just small metal rods. He's got 2 of them, and he lays them down, and he's like, "I've got this pair. These are fantastic. In fact, watch this." And he grabs two of them in his hand, and he starts like climbing a ladder in the air. These are 2 immovable rods.
Oh, rad.
Debbie says, those are very normal sized rods, very average.
Oh gosh.
I've seen bigger rods. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, and smaller ones too. I mean, this is just average size.
It's just average. It's nothing fancy.
You can also see behind him there is a large shield, a large metal shield, and on the front of the shield it has this kind of it's like a steel shield, but there's like this golden image of a woman dancing on the front of the shield.
Ooh.
Interesting. What can you tell us about the shield?
Oh, this shield, actually, if you say its command word, let me try to remember what it is. And then he says, dance. And this shield pops up and it hovers right next to him. He's like, go on, try to punch me, but quick, it doesn't last forever.
All right, Abby will try to very lightly throw a jab out.
The shield swings over and blocks your punch. This is an animated shield. So you can speak the command word as a bonus action and it will animate. The shield leaps into the air and it hovers in your space to protect you as if you were wielding it. And that lasts for a minute. Or you can use a bonus action to end the effect, or if you are incapacitated or die, at which point it will fall to the ground or it'll return to your hand.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Like, it's fantastic.
How many times can you use that one a day?
This one, I think you can use it as many times as you want. It's expensive, though. It's quite expensive. This shield is 6,000 gold pieces.
Good grief.
Oh, that's a lot.
And these rods, they're 5,000 for the pair.
You know, people need to eat. I just want to throw that out there, Gerard.
Well, I think we may be interested in some of these items, but Gerard, I think I have something that might interest you. It's a book of Sudoku puzzles.
It's a cookbook with a lot of omelet recipes.
Yes.
He starts looking through it. What's that book called again in real life?
The Tome of Clear Thought. It does not appear in the Sane Magic Items prices.
Okay. He pulls out a pearl and he holds it in his hand and he starts kind of rubbing the pearl as he's looking at this book. And he says, well, this is fine indeed, but I mean, only one person can use it, and then I don't feel like it's usable again for quite some time. Huh.
That's what I figured, that the ink would have to fade on the puzzles before someone else could use it. But, I mean, you're wearing that wizard hat, so it seems like maybe you could make use of this even for yourself.
Well, that's what I'm pondering. He kind of goes over to his little awning that he's got there, his little hut that he's got there, and he starts looking through this little lockbox. He starts counting, and then he's looking at it, kind of trying to figure out how much money he's got. And he looks back at you and he says, I'll give you 3,000 for it.
3,000, come on. At least an even trade for that shield.
Make a persuasion check. Wait, you'll trade it for the shield?
The shield was 6,000.
The shield was 6,000.
And I got a 23 on my persuasion.
He says, I'll 3,500, but that's as high as I can go.
I'll consider it. But if you do take this, if we do sell this to you, there are stipulations. There is a library to Cadriel in Arklevy. There's also a secret library. You may have heard of it. Should you buy this, you would need to make sure that it makes its way to that library after it's used.
I would agree to that, yes.
Okay.
Are you selling it to me then?
Well, I'll talk with my colleagues here to see what it is we are interested in procuring.
Okay.
Give us a moment.
Yeah. So what has struck your fancy? Anything in particular?
Nari, I think, just wants a couple of those potions of healing, the greater healing.
Greater healing? There are 150 apiece.
How many of them are there?
There's 5 of them.
Alright, I think we should buy all 5 and just divvy them up between us.
Okay.
That's probably a good idea. I think that shield would be awesome for Nari, because she could make it dance and then wield a two-handed weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the idea of that shield.
Yeah, it gives you plus 2 AC.
At the same time, though, it would be pretty cool for Ebby and or Pine, too. We can all use shields.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're already using a shield, Pine. You can't double up on a shield, I don't think.
Oh, I know, but it'd just be sweet to have a flying shield.
Yeah.
Oh, and for everyone listening, Pine's not using a shield, he's using a cane as a shield. We've reflavored his shield as a cane.
Yeah. Well, I have the Shield of Faith spell, so I don't need it, and I think Nari does too.
That's what I was going to say. I have the spell that gives me plus 2 on my AC, so like I don't really need it.
But this would give you plus 2 again. That'd give you plus 4 to your AC. But I get it. It's there. It's 6,000 gold. Bag of Holding for 4,000. Ion Stone of Strength for 3,000. Rope of Climbing for 2,000. And Ever Smoking Bottle for 1,000.
Nari, are you interested in this Stone of Strength? Or are you already kind of maxed out on your strength?
I'm pretty close to maxed out. What does the Stone of Strength do?
It adds 2.
Yeah, plus 2
plus
strength.
2.
But you top out at 20.
Yeah. I'm at 18 right now, so I could definitely take it, but it's not my biggest worry.
But Hebby, you're interested in the shield?
It's not mission critical. If we were going to pick up something, I think the shield could be very useful for all of us, but either way. The staff was rather intriguing as well. I just feel that I've drifted away from trying to be in melee combat.
Honestly, I think that staff would be very useful for Nari as well. She could hit a couple times with that and then switch to her axe.
Oh, yes.
And the staff was a little bit less expensive as well. We might be able to trade the book for the staff.
It's true, but those immovable rods also seem very handy for blocking passages or stopping carts, breaking legs.
Yeah, the immovable rod pair was 5,000. Or you can buy one for 3,000.
Well, a case could be made for any of them. What do you think would be the most useful?
I feel like the shield would probably be the most useful. Maybe the staff.
Now, do we have enough money to purchase the shield if I can only get 3,500 for this book of puzzles?
I have 20 platinum and 650 gold.
Whoa,
Plus a couple silvers.
that's 800 right there.
I also have about 800.
I guess I've been eating through my reserves, living on the road. Gerard, I will sell you this book of puzzles for 3,500.
Done.
So now we have that to work with.
Plus 1,600 gold. That's like 5,000.
Yep.
Anything else you guys can sell?
I never sold my scimitar of life stealing.
He'll offer you. He'll offer you 500 gold pieces for that.
Okay. So I have about 800 gold as well then.
Okay, so I think altogether we have about 6,000 gold. I know I for sure would like to have at least a couple potions of greater healing. And then I'm open to anything else.
How much were the potions of greater healing again, Gerard?
150 a piece. So if you want all 5 of them, that's 750.
Okay. So we'll take all the potions of greater healing, and then what else? Because I'm not using any of the other things.
There is a horn of blasting, I think, that might be for sale. I don't know if you guys want to keep that.
Well, but do I want to give away the Horn of Blasting?
It looks so good on top of your head right there.
I mean, you and Gerard look like twins, wearing your pointy hats.
How much would you give me for this Horn of Blasting?
Oh, let's see here. This sort of megaphone thing. 225.
That's it? Oh, I'll keep it.
It's very dangerous. He's like, he as you pull it out and let him hold it for a second, he can like feel it vibrating in his hand. He's like, I don't know about this. A 1 in 20 chance of exploding in your face.
Well, I do. I'm keeping it then.
Yeah, that saved our life a couple years back.
Yeah. Well, did you guys make it to your goal of how much money you needed?
I don't know that we did.
A lot of the things are kind of nice to haves, but not necessarily need to haves, except for those potions of healing.
He says, well, I will be here in town. If you decide to come back, if you get some more money, scrounge something together, I'm more than happy to make a deal for you, my friends.
Well, we'll take the potions now. So that was how much?
$7.50.
Okay, all right. I'll subtract it from mine.
All right, very cool.
2 for Nari, 1 for the rest of us.
That sounds fair.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, perfect. All right, you guys, as you guys finish up talking with Gerard, he starts, harassing other people as they walk by. Hey, come see what I've got. Hey, friend, come here. And you realize he calls everybody friends. It's not just you. Suddenly it's less special. Yes, so where did you guys want to go at this point?
I think to the constabulary, right?
Yeah, we don't want to keep him waiting. He's not really accused of anything yet.
Right. Okay, as you guys start to leave the pit and head towards kind of the middle drawbridge, there's these drawbridges these ramps with drawbridges on them that can lead you from the lower city to the upper city. You head towards the middle one, which is going to be the quickest way to get to the constabulary. As you are walking there, suddenly you hear a little bit of commotion, and as you turn your head, you see 3 of these tower-wearing men and women. You see them rush past you, heading southwest, and they seem to be in a hurry.
I think we should probably follow them.
I mean, it does seem like our Mordecai is indisposed right now, so might as well follow the people who are going free.
Yeah, that was alarming. Let's follow them, yes.
Okay. As you are you going to run after them, or are you just going to kind of try to keep them in your eyesight, or what?
I think maybe as discreetly as we can. Should I send Amarok up to go and try to keep an eye on them?
What's Amarok's speed?
He has flight speed of 40 feet.
Okay. Yeah, Amarok can keep up with them, no problem. So are you guys going to hang back and let Amarok follow them?
Yeah, and then I'm on crumbles, so I'm going to be on the streets. I'm not going to be like slinking around, but I'll just try to look like I'm off for a Sunday morning ride.
Okay. Well, these guys are moving like 60 feet per round, basically. These guys are hustling.
That's what crumbles does on easy mode.
People are kind of giving you some glares as you're riding by, because you're not exactly going at a leisurely pace for here in the city. As you are following these 3 bailiffs as they run through town in a hurry, you can see that they are actually heading straight towards the keggery. And as they approach the keggery, you see there is a bailiff standing in front of the keggery door, who he then opens it, allowing these 3 to enter in, and then closes it. And as you approach, you can also see that there is a letter, like a long piece of paper that has been nailed to the front door of the keggery. And this bailiff steps kind of off to the side, but right there by the door. And he has a sword drawn with its point on the ground as he rests his hands on the pommel. These bailiffs have taken over the keggery. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
But that's where I sleep.
I can't believe Angus would let them do that.
It's time to start a riot.
Time to start a riot, exactly. All right, you guys. Well, hey, thanks for playing tonight. It's been a fun one. You guys managed to survive that fight with the cult in the castle, and then you guys might do some little shopping, talk about what's going on, and it sounds like some other intriguing things are going on in the city at this moment. So, if you like what we're doing, go check out our Patreon. You guys can leave ratings and reviews for us. It really helps us out. And until we see you next time, we hope you have a great time.